Next up, we've got Christopher Crone, who is the president and CMO of Restaurant.com, and he's talking to us about creating loyalty in restaurant consumers, and it's a gamification case study from them. So over to you, Christopher. Thank you. I'll stand up when 18 minutes are up. Thank you.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right. Thank you. My name is actually John Reynolds. I am a CRM manager, and at Restaurant.com, I'm going to. Chris was unfortunately not able to make it, so I am pleased to be here, and this is really a great opportunity for me to get to know everybody here, as well as to share the experiences that we have at Restaurant.com. With me is also Zach Bodner. He is our what is your title?
Producer.
Producer from Badgeville. He's been very instrumental in helping us get our program launched. When we look at Restaurant.com, we are a deal site, and we are a deal site that specifically works in the restaurant space. So our business model is very unique in that we are continually changing things. We're an organization that's been around since 1999. I personally have only joined Restaurant.com in the last 6 months. When I joined, it was loyalty and gamification was an opportunity that was thrown on my lap, and I took it, and we have really adapted it to something that meets our business goals. And when you look at this, Restaurant.com, since we change so frequently, since we are currently offering deals, a loyalty program can't simply be points-based. It has to be something that offers our customers with an experience, with something that engages them. So one of the primary things that we looked at was our organization was lacking certain metrics, specifically lifetime value, which we know for loyalty and for anybody that's in e-commerce is critical. So prior to even joining, lifetime value was something that we started to calculate more thoroughly. And for us, that became a primary objective. With a loyalty program, and specifically gamification, we now have much better insight into what sort of achievements people are doing with us to use our products and services and other things. Also, in order to get our customers to come once, that's pretty easy, right? They come to us for a deal. They look for that restaurant that they want to try out. And they make a connection with the restaurant, but we want them to make a connection with Restaurant.com. In the end, if Restaurant.com has a site experience where people enjoy finding restaurants, they get information that's helpful to them for finding restaurants, we've really achieved our goal. And finally, it is just that if we become the #1 restaurant dining portal, then you are going to have all the access that you need to find restaurants with great food, great meal, a great deal, good experiences. But you're going to do that all on Restaurant.com. So we set out to achieve certain goals for this, and by doing that, we looked at what are the interactions that users have on our site, and what are the interactions that we want them to have in order to make this site experience better. And we looked at things like social engagements, finding restaurants and following them on Twitter, finding Restaurant.com and following us on Twitter and Facebook, sharing badges, sharing achievements that they have on our site. We are an e-commerce site, so when you look at what we do, purchasing is very important to us, as well as all of the content that we offer consumers when they're searching for a restaurant. Now, game mechanics worked for us because we were able to apply it to certain business applications. And before we were even really able to construct it, we sought the advice of Badgeville to say, help us look at what our business goals are and apply those game mechanics. And I'm going to let Zach take over and kind of talk about how we went about doing that.
Thanks, John. So as a producer, one of my main roles at Badgeville is kind of walking our clients through this process of, okay, so step one and one of the most foundational building blocks of a successful gamification implementation is determining exactly what the business goals are. And as you saw at restaurant.com, this was done extremely well. But that's only the first step. The next step is really understanding how those business objectives, how those KPIs are going to be driven by overarching behaviors. Let's take one example, visit, right? So we want people to come visit, we want them to visit for longer, and we want them to visit more frequently. But that's really just the first layer of examining the behaviors we want to drive. Because not all visits are equal, right? If a customer comes in and looks at one restaurant, that visit is in fact less valuable to restaurant.com than if someone comes in and visits 5 restaurant pages, right? So really drilling one layer down within the overarching behaviors and determining which are those atomic behaviors that we really want to drive the users to perform that will end up driving the actual key business metrics. So once we have those behaviors, then we can start looking at the context of those behaviors. Or what is the user's state of mind when they get to that fork in their user path when they can choose to perform the behaviors we want them to perform. So once we have these atomic behaviors we want them to perform, and once we have an idea of what their mind state is, then we can actually start determining what the achievement structure should be, what the program structure should be to actually motivate and trigger these behaviors. Thanks.
Yeah, and just to review that again, I mean, when we look at that, restaurant.com is continuing to adapt. I will say that when we put this infrastructure in place, we were thinking long-term too. We needed to be adaptable. We needed to be able to account for changes because we are an e-commerce site and we're continuing to evolve. The things that we put in place were fairly simple. We wanted to be able to offer our customers points. Specifically, when they do reward-worthy behaviors, right, they want to be able to earn something for that and get instant gratification. Also, what we've instituted were, you know, these badges, right? So then when you unlock those, there's something hidden there that you get a badge and you get to carry it, and it's something that's unique to the user, and that experience may never be the same for each user. They may often accomplish some of the same goals, but in some cases, users will go to the content that's important to them, and so we offered unique experiences across our site. We have also, you know, motivations to keep customers moving along with missions, right? So the idea of having a goal in mind, it can get people to where we want them to go, but they may also allow for us to be able to categorize those things. So when we go back and we look at what were the behaviors that were important to us, what are the behaviors that motivate our customers, we kind of took that broad range and built them out into missions and things that our customers could achieve, and as they achieve them, you know, they get gratification from doing so. Finally, levels, really, when you have levels, we've built in what we call surprise and delight rewards into our levels, meaning that when you earn points and you're continuing to progress on the site and do more things that are reward worthy, you advance up our tiers. But we also allow for you to get tangible rewards, something that you didn't expect and something that continues to keep you motivated. And restaurant.com sells these certificates for restaurants. We also sell gift cards. And so we offer free gift cards to our customers along the way. They didn't expect it, and when they get it, I'll share with you that our email metrics for those are probably one of our best open and click-through rates of anything that we send out today. So specifically with the surprise and delight rewards, there's notifications that offer instant gratification. Surprise and delight almost happens offline through email channels. And I want to let Zach talk a little bit about those effects of using surprise and delight rewards.
Right, thanks, John. So why does surprise and delight work? We hear a lot about surprise and delight around gamification. We hear a lot about tangible rewards. We hear a lot about dopamine. The fact of the matter is that these three things actually come together very importantly and very strongly to really motivate behavior, right? So what the question really is, I'm giving my consumers something, a tangible reward or an intangible reward, something that they value, right? How do I amplify the value of that to the end user and to me as the organization who's giving it to them? And one classic way is just to turn the dial up. I'm going to give them something that's more valuable. Well, that may work some of the time, but actually often that actually backfires in the long run. A really effective way to amplify the effect of the reward is to schedule it in a specific way, to schedule it in a way that's right, surprising. And this does two things. To the person who's getting the reward, the fact that it's a surprise will actually amplify the perceived value of the reward incredibly. So the person who's receiving it feels a lot better about getting the reward. And for the organization, for the company who's giving the reward, it has a longer behavioral effect. Because what it does is it creates an anticipation. Oh, I've been doing this behavior. I got this tiny little reward. Maybe if I keep doing the behavior, I'll get another thing down the line. This is how casinos work. This is how all these unexpected rewards work, is that they create that anticipation. And when you hear people talking about dopamine, people talk about it as the pleasure chemical, people talk about it as a motivational chemical. It does a lot of things in the brain, but what we do know for sure is that when you're anticipating something, when you're sitting there thinking about, oh, am I going to get that? I really want it. Maybe this time I'll achieve that. Dopamine is extremely active then. And that's the power of surprise and delight, to really amplify the value of the reward both to the end user and to your organization as a way to motivate behavior in the future. Thanks.
A few things that you might notice too. Here some visualizations that we offer the customers, and these are the sort of surprises that they get, including notifications as well as we fulfill emails with the gift. We'll talk a little bit about how with the launch of our rewards program, we found a lot of early wins. We look at this as we've now created new opportunities to engage with customers. In surveying those customers, the ones that are highly engaged in the program are also more highly satisfied with restaurant.com. We found also that in terms of our metrics, so I went back to lifetime value, but some organizations can't really put a value to what their customers are, and they try to take a lot of these metrics to figure out what a customer is worth to them. With Badgeville, what we found is that we've defined what behaviors are that are valuable to us and that will also motivate our customers, and as we continue to see them conduct some of these behaviors, it's automatically telling us who are our most engaged or valuable customers. And finally, when we keep going. When we look at this, our loyalty program has only been up since January, and already we have an astounding rate of people that are earning badges. It's not just that they've come to the site and they're experiencing badges. We are looking at subsets of them where they are continuing to earn achievements that are not typical to us, and those were the types of behaviors that we were hoping for people to start to carry out on the site. Rewards for us is continuing to be developed. So points, as I said, we don't want them to be redeemable. We're already a deal site. It makes no sense for us to be able to say that we're going to discount our product further by redeeming points. So what we've sought to do is take points and make them tangible. So the fulfilling of gift cards when you reach certain levels. Another thing that we're also beginning to work on is daily sweepstakes. So your points earn you an entry into those sweepstakes. And it brings new value to points where a lot of our customers might just be asking, what are points worth to me? And now we have true meaning for that. We also are taking loyalty and gamification as a new marketing channel for our organization. We have email, SMS, social, we have mobile messaging, we have a broad range of channels that we communicate to our customers through, and now our rewards program is a brand new channel for that. So with multi-message or multi-channel strategies, we are communicating about rewards through those other channels. We have new content to talk about that we didn't before, and new reasons to talk to customers. So it's been very effective for us. Finally, we now have the ability for customers to come back and have experiences that it doesn't make our site just simply transactional. And when they come back, we're able to offer them new opportunities. We can trigger certain motivators to keep them coming back. And when I talked about repeat visits earlier as being one of our goals, we had seen that, as I suggested, some folks look for a restaurant once, and then that's it, right? They find the restaurant and they're done. They may not consider to come back to restaurant.com, and what we're finding is that we've actually turned those metrics around to where customers really are coming back. They're looking for that next experience from us. And finally, we have lots of content on our site. We're not looking to become the next Facebook or social network, but we are creating a community on our site, and that our customers earn points. They are being ranked against other customers, and they get to see how they're interacting. And that's an experience that we never had before. So we do have social media channels, and that's a little bit different, but when you can engage live with the site and see what others are doing, that's very important to us. So.